Hi, welcome back to SharonMyART, where today we're going to talk about watercolor paper and what you're going to put the paper on to keep your table dry or whatever you're going to paint on. You may be tempted to go out and get this, a palette, not very expensive, of watercolor paper. It says watercolor paper, it says heavy, weight, durable, cold press. All right. So you get this. You make a wonderful painting. You try to lift some of the color out and you scrub it, and pretty soon you go right through this paper because it isn't 100% cotton. This would be fine to practice some of your strokes on, to see what colors your greens are. Like if you want to get all your greens out and put them on a piece of paper. This would be good for that because you're not blending, you're not lifting, you're not doing anything but seeing what saturation of the color there is and what these different colors look like, even though they're all greens. That would be good for this. If you want to make a painting and say you wanted to start out with this sea turtle, say, oh man, I really want to paint that sea turtle. You need some decent paper because you're going to have to make some little marks here that involve lifting the color. And lifting the color we're going to talk about when we get into painting and the different strokes and how to do different things with watercolor. So what you want to do is get some Arches paper. May sound funny that I'm mentioning a brand over another brand, but this paper is made in France. It's 140 pounds or 300 pounds or 90 pounds, but most of us use 140 pounds. So this is 140 pound, and that's what most of us use. It's cold press, which means it has a little tooth to it. If I'm rubbing on this, there's a little texture to it. If it's hot press, like this, it's very smooth. I don't like to use this as well because the paint doesn't do what I want it to do. A lot of people like hot press because the paint stays where you put it. You can't really move the paint around and blend it as much. You'll need something to put underneath this paper. I like to use Plexiglas and white tape. I was using blue tape, and it did make a difference where when you painted something on your paper and the blue was around it, it just made the colors look different. Like if you're doing something like this, you want to be able to have a white outline around it. You don't want any blues or any other color interfering with the colors that you see on your paper. So Plexiglas is really good. Also, you could just use a piece of wood that you varnished so the wood wouldn't come through your paper. You don't want anything to change the pH of your paper to make your paints, fade or whatever. This is called Gator Board, and you can staple on this. It's a real smooth texture and it's lightweight. It's a little expensive, $25 for a piece this big, but it lasts for a long, long time. So that's it. We're ready to paint. We've got our paper. We've talked about our paint. We have a photograph to go by if we choose to use this. We've got something to put our brushes in and a palette, even though it might just be a paper plate, and brushes. That's it. See you later on SharonMyART, and please subscribe and like us. Bye.